Hey everybody, Brian from Rebel Traders here. It is the weekend, November 16th. And this, of course, is your weekend video where we'll talk about stocks, what happened last week in the market, quick review, and then we'll take a look ahead, see what we got coming up this week, as well as some possible trade ideas. So let's get down to it. All right, quick weekend review here, as we always do, starting out CPI and PPI data. Everybody was watching for those numbers. Read on inflation. Basically came in as expected, or there were a few numbers that were slightly hotter than expected. So inflation still running at 2.6%, still not down at that 2% level that the Fed is targeting. And Powell was speaking on Thursday, and that really kind of moved the markets Friday when he said the economy basically was strong, labor market was good, and the Fed would, quote, not be in a hurry to lower rates. So that kind of shook investors a little bit and really knocked the CME prediction of rate cut for December down quite a bit. Still 60%, but a lot lower than it was previously. So some people starting to question whether we actually are going to get a rate cut. And also investors starting to get a little bit concerned about some of the sectors just because of the new administration and some of the appointments that are being made. Healthcare was particularly hit with the mention of RFK. Some of the stocks in the healthcare sector were dragged down there, especially the vaccine stocks. Maybe a buying opportunity. We'll talk about that in a minute. Markets given back a lot since the post-election gains, and you can see here Dow, Qs, SPY, and particularly IWM down a lot this week, and we'll go over those indexes in a minute. Financials and energy still holding up pretty strong during the week. Healthcare, as I mentioned, and technology, worst performing sectors of the week. The interest rates continue on the treasuries. They continue to creep higher here. You can see we're now at 4.3 on the 2-year. 4.44 on the 10-year, and again, those are increases from the previous week. So we continue to see the Treasury market pricing in maybe the fear of inflation going forward, 2025-26. U.S. dollar again correlated pretty much to the move in interest rates, and it moved up. It really moved up this week, almost 2%. And of course, Bitcoin really took a ripper here. We went from 76,000 here to we're trading around 91,000 last I looked, and really sort of looking like it's heading to that 100,000 level. So that was your weekend review. And before we get into looking at some of the indexes, I always like to throw in a quick plug for my books that are available on Amazon in all the different forms, e-form or audio as well. It's hard copy. And you can see there my oldest book, How to Swing Trade, read by a lot of people, highly reviewed. And I will also talk about some option trade potentials today. And so there's a book there if you're learning options, or if you're new to options or you want to learn a little more. There's my How to Trade Options book, and of course, Profiting as an Active Trader, really all-inclusive book on trading as if you're going to be active managing some of your portfolio. So there you go. Let's move on to looking at some indexes. Okay, so as always, let's start out with the bonds, the TLT, which is the price of the bonds. You can see we've been steadily going down, and we're looking here at maybe the possibility that we may break down further here as yields continue to go up. It's been a little choppy, as you can see, hard to trade, but we could be heading down to sort of this 87 area if the yields continue to go up. And I think if they go up much more, I think we're really going to have a sort of capitulation moment where we're really going to start to drop here. So again, some of the concerns about the new administration and their policies may be somewhat inflationary and driving rates up again, of course, and then that would be obviously taking the price of bonds lower. So possible trade there. I mean, we could sell options, call spreads, sell a call, and then buy one for protection. It's around 92, say, or 93. Or you could do a risk reversal if you really felt strongly, and sell the 92s and then buy some 87 puts. So some options there. Or you could flip to the TBT, which is the reverse of TLT. it'll go in the opposite direction. So it kind of tracks the price of yields, goes up when the price of yields go up as well. The dollar, you can see here, we've just been on a tear since we broke out. We broke out from this 29 level. This is a very typical pattern: breakout, come back, retest the breakout level, and then it's just ripped higher. Of course, that's a function of the price of the bonds and the yields that are going up, creating more demand for the dollar. So you can see here, we'll start out with the Qs. This was the election day gap up, and then the strong move up, and then the rollover, and we lost this level here on Friday, probably primarily based on maybe Fed Powell's comments. But you can see here we've given up all of that post-election gain, and we could be coming back down here and testing this 492 level is where I'd be looking, and then 485 would be the next level for a possible retracement on the SPY next week. The Qs, same thing. We pretty much retraced, or we retraced that entire gain, and now we're sitting right on this moving average. Again, we could be coming back down here to 575 next week if this selling continues. And the Dow, again, I'm not going to repeat myself, same story here, but again, retracing the gains and possible more downside here into the 425 DIA. IWM, of course, they got hit the most this week. And again, we're back down. We certainly, this gap up, and then we really lost it. Even on Wednesday, we kind of started to lose it. Thursday, we definitely lost this post-election pop, and now we're back down, tracing and testing these levels. Last thing we'll look at is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is trading around 91,200. And again, I think it's nothing but, looks like nothing but upside here. So, and I'm in some Bitcoin positions now, so we'll talk about that coming up. Okay, so let's go over some current positions we're in and some top trades we took last week. Some of them came from the watch list from the previous week, but yeah, I had mentioned IBIT, and HUT is another one, another play on Bitcoin. These are Bitcoin miner. Actually, it's located in Canada, but they're listed in both Canada and the US. So I traded this one on this gap up, and still holding some for higher on, as I expect Bitcoin to move higher here over the next couple weeks or week or so, get to 100,000. IBIT was one that I had mentioned last week on the watch list, and of course traded that stock as well, and still holding some there. And I had mentioned BABA. I was looking for a breakdown, and we did get that. I did short some, and now I covered it before they came out with earnings, but you can see what happened after earnings, gap down again. TD, this is one that I've been in for a couple weeks. It looked like it was going to break out there. It looked like I was going to have my calls, and that I was going to get the stock taken away because I'm short the calls, but my calls still look pretty safe. Again, I've written some calls. This is the second time written some calls up higher here, and they're called covered calls. You can learn about that in my book on Amazon, in my options, how to trade options. And this week I was watching for this breakout on crowd. I was looking for a bit of a gap fill, and we got that gap fill this week. So I got out of that position, the remainder of it, for a nice gain, because I've been in here for a couple of weeks now, and finally pulled the trigger on that one, got the rest of it out, or just under 350. So that was a good trade. Okay, so let's figure out some stocks to watch next week, in the context that I think the market has more downside, at least early in the week, and there'll be some volatility obviously leading up to NVIDIA's earnings report on Wednesday after the close. But again, I think maybe we've got some more downside here, so I'm looking at a possibility to trade a UVXY, which of course will go up if the market drops. So interested in that one. Amazon, I'm kind of interested in. Amazon broke out here. You can see what happened. Kind of did a major breakout here. I think that was probably post-election. Came back up, and now it is retesting where it broke out from. So I've mentioned before, you can see here how it bounced off this this moving average, the 20 EMA. So you can see here how it's come back and retested the breakout level. Again, this is a pattern you quite often see, and there could be a potential for a move back up, but again, a little bit cautious on that given the state of the market right now. Some of these financial stocks, like this is a weird one, Dave, gapped up after earnings. Looks like it's trying to hold here and could start to retest this high that it hit back a few days ago. Some of the ones that have really gotten hit, and maybe I think unjustly really punished here, is the healthcare sector. And you know, a lot of the stuff is still unknown in terms of, you know, who's going to be making policy decisions and etc. And maybe it's a bit of an overreaction here. There could be some more downside, maybe down to 140 on XLV, but I think it's just getting really oversold here. You can see some pretty high volume. See what happened back here. Sell off, high volume, and then we moved right back up. So I'm thinking this might have been a bit of a capitulation volume, so might be some support there around 140. You could sell puts there, and maybe buy some puts below it if you wanted protection, or you could just go long XLV, or if you wanted to do it with options again, you could go long calls, but you'd have to maybe go out in time a bit. So I'm not sure that the dust has quite settled there. And XLU, utilities actually had a pretty decent week here. You can see here we're on the verge of breaking out, 79.50. And the other one I was kind of interested in was Square. Square, again, sort of financial payments. It gapped up after earnings and seems to be holding above the 9 EMA and maybe getting ready to make a move higher here. And if I look at that, we go back out and look at it on a weekly basis. Kind of see here we're testing this weekly level, and if I look at it on a monthly basis, always good to look at multiple time frames. You can see here that again we're testing this 85 level, and if we can kind of break out here, I think 100 could be in the sights of Square. And actually Square did not have a bad day Friday. Actually was up on the day when the rest of the market kind of sold off. So that's always an interesting sign when you see a stock moving in the opposite direction of the market. So there you go. Those are the ones I'm going to be watching next week and possibly taking some positions in. All right, so week of November 18th, what do we got coming up here? Here's your levels on the Dow, Q, SPY, and IWM with resistance and support. As far as economic events go, we've got some housing numbers coming out early in the week, jobless claims, more housing numbers Thursday, and services and manufacturing PMI on Friday. So the big mover, I think, and everybody's going to anticipating is this NVIDIA earnings report on Wednesday at 4:20. We do have some other retailers reporting this week. We had strong retail numbers on Friday reported, so it'll be interesting to see how Walmart, Lowe's, we've already had HD, so Lowe's, there'll be TJX Max. We've got Ross, so some of the big retailers coming out this week with their numbers. So that's it, everybody. Hope you've had a good weekend or are having a good weekend. And of course, we always start out with the market reviews, pre-market show 8 o'clock, and trading live on YouTube into the open on Monday morning. Hopefully you can join us there. Please like and subscribe if you like the video, and see you all Monday morning, hopefully. Bye for now.